I cannot imagine that this case is still in one piece, considering that it was apparently shipped by brutalization. But while you place your bets, it's time for a word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Be Quiet and their Pure Loop AIOs. Now it goes without saying that the Pure Loop AIOs are easy to mount, come in a variety of sizes, and with its unique pump design is surprisingly quiet for an AIO. But what I like most about these AIOs is their minimalist aesthetic. I think they look real sexy with that brushed metal faceplate and that diffused white LED. And considering that you don't have to pay a ridiculous RGB tax on these, they are surprisingly affordable. And they have a fill port on an AIO, which I think is really cool. So if you like the look of these, check out the Pure Loop AIOs using the link in my description below. And thank you again Be Quiet for sponsoring today's video. It seems like AliExpress has added water damage to the repertoire of shipping risks, which I think is a nice new touch. I'm just glad they put this fragile sticker on there, otherwise who knows what would have happened. It seems like during the impact, the two boxes kind of fused. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna unbox this. Oh, it sounds so broken. Look at that. What? Okay, that's all very weird. I can't tell if it's fine or not. Now I assume these are the side panels, this one is tempered glass, and then this one is acrylic. And then these seem like tiki themed RGB acrylic pieces that I guess you attach in various places on the case. And they're all wired, so it means that these light up, which is really exciting. So not only does this case look insane, but it's clearly been hewn out of depleted uranium because it somehow survived the massacre of shipping. The only real damage seems to be that this one side panel mount is bent in a bit, but we should be able to fix that. It kind of reminds me of the kind of chopper that they would build in Orange County choppers. It looks like a tiki head motorcycle. There's its mouth over there with a fan in it. Although, I guess technically a mouth should make for pretty good ventilation, come to think of it. But actually, on the note of fans, this case has a grand total of 7 RGB fans included. All of which are Molex powered, which as we all know is a sign of premium quality fans. And once we stick on these RGB acrylic pieces, we're gonna get some crazy performance from this system. And actually, I'm sure this sweet Republic of Gamers branding is worth at least an additional 10% FPS on top of that. And all of these acrylic pieces plug in using these little connectors to a supplied RGB hub that, you guessed it, is powered by Molex. So no RGB control for you, which should be interesting. But with that, let's build a PC in this sucker. First things first, we have to kinda... I think we're good. Good as new. Now, having a look at the inside of this thing, I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna cool the CPU in here, because there are a lot of fan mounts all over the place, but none of them really seem conducive to radiator mounting. I mean, maybe a 120mm will work in the back, but if we put a 240 in the front, I think the tubing is gonna struggle to get around the graphics card, and yeah, I'm not sure. I think maybe a small air cooler may actually be our best bet. But even that could be a problem because the case is quite shallow. But before we try and figure that out, let me see if the MATX motherboard that I have in mind for this case will actually fit in here. Now, considering that the case is Republic of Gamers, I thought we just had to go with a ROG motherboard. So I'm using this Z690 MATX Strix board that Micro Center sent over a while ago for some videos. Oh, that is such a good looking MATX board. Oh, that is a very oddly shaped case. But despite that, it does actually fit very well. Okay, so let me take that out and prepare it for the installation. So now that we have the awesome looking motherboard in here, it's time to see what kind of cooler clearance options we have for this 12600K. Let's see if this new Deepcool AK-47 cooler fits on there. Yes, it does. Okay, we're using that. The CPU still has the stock cooler ring of shame, which it's real difficult to clean off there. In terms of power supply, I'm gonna use this little RM550X that I hope is gonna fit in this weird case. Kinda like that. Okay, that actually fits. This is a really dumb mount because you kinda have to hold it. That is an interesting screwdriver angle to have to use. This is a dumb case. Okay, there we go. Now, more often than not, ease of cable management in cases like these is less an afterthought and more something that's just completely ignored, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it look very good. But I am a professional, so who knows, maybe it'll go very well. Oh, I needed Molex. I forgot. I'm gonna have to take the power supply out again. Okay, there we go. Got some Molex. This is easily the most majestic Molex chain I have ever seen in my life. Let's see if we can go find more Molex crap to plug into it. Now, I think the most important RGB to fit in here is the eyes, so let's start off with that. It's a bit of a squeeze, but it does actually fit in there. Look at that. Why does this process feel harder than the other one? Oh! Wow, that feels like you're breaking something. Oh, nice. This is already starting to look spectacular. I don't know where these eyes go. Are they like truck nut eyes? Like, do they go on the back of the case? Oh, it goes here. This looks like a GPU mount, so I think this kind of goes like that. Little truck nut plate. Unfortunately, it seems like we needed to mount it before we put the power supply in, and I absolutely refuse to pull that out again. So I'm just gonna use some double-sided tape to stick it on and hope that it's fine. I mean, if they didn't want me to use double-sided tape, they wouldn't have given me so much of it. And then the last one we need to mount is the big wing that goes on the front. Yes, this is starting to come along nicely. Now, for the graphics card, we unfortunately don't have a whole bunch of clearance, so I am going to use this PowerColor RX 6600 Hellhound, because it'll fit and it has a little bit of lighting. I may have screwed up not putting the GPU in first, if I'm honest. The graphics card's not liking that angle very much, but it's okay. It's nothing a bit of brute force won't fix. All we have left to do is get the side panel on here, which I hope it's got a lot of clearance. I have just made a terrible realization. These are the mounts for the rear side panel. Now, on the front of the case, they come pre-installed, but on the back they don't. And, well, they need to be screwed down from the inside of the case, which means we're gonna have some real struggles on our hands considering that we've already built the entire system. Now, the first one should be relatively easy to get on because we have a clear shot of it. Okay, so that's the first one on with relatively little hitch. Let's try number 2. So what I'm gonna do for these is whip out the iFixit Bend Screwimatron and hope that it helps. Never mind, that doesn't work. There we go, that's number 2 on. But now comes the true struggle, getting through the pit of doom to mount the last standoff. I dropped the screw, oh no. I can't see what I'm doing. So I've shifted cables around, I can see the hole now. Oh! The screw dropped out. So it's slightly threaded now. So it means that at least the screw is holding in place. Okay, whatever. I'm done. It's on there enough. It's kind of loose, but at least it's on there. And the fact that we've got the other 3 properly seated, I'm hoping is good enough because, well, it's kind of got to be good enough because I've just lost interest. That's as much as I'm gonna do. Wait. It goes on like that? It doesn't cover like most of the cable mess. It just looks like there's a bunch of the panel missing. But I don't know, I guess we can just say that it looks mechanical and raw, like there's a brain behind the face. I don't know. Just a quick note here, unless you have the hands of a 3-year-old, you're not going to be able to plug the power supply in, which is all the way down there, with this bracket on. So we're going to have to remove it again. I don't think I've ever been this excited to turn a PC on. So I guess we just go for it, right? I don't know if it's going to work. Now, Battlefield 5 at 1080p high settings has been running for a while now, and those temperatures are very good on both the CPU and the GPU. So this case may be absolutely crazy looking, but because there's more air gap than panel, the temperatures are actually very good. And considering the panel gaps, it's surprisingly quiet. Which neatly brings me to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel and maybe watching another video. A suggestion will pop up in a second. And until the next video, thanks for watching. Bye bye.